All right. So welcome. So I believe we are on week 11, Cheryl, right? I think week 11. So we are almost done, you guys. We have, let's see here. It looks like we have 1, 2, 3 left. After this one, we have 3 left. No, 2
We only
after
two.
this one.
Two.
2 left, you guys. So it's so crazy how time has flown by, but we are almost done with our Focus Forward series. I hope this has been like good chunks of information for you guys. Last week, we talked about leadership, inventory management, how to recognize the day codes, how to read them, how to make sure that you are properly shelving your product and making sure you're using what you have before you use the new, right? Put the new in behind the present. And just knowing like what the income difference is when going into leadership. Also, it doesn't always have to be about directorship. It's also building your team, what's available to you through that, not leaving any money on the table, right? That you could just go after, which is really cool. And so I do want to hear from you guys about last week's training. What was something that made you think a little differently? Or something that you like, maybe you made a decision last week about something that you had just been kind of sitting on and you're like, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. So I just want to hear what any takeaways you guys have from last week's leadership and inventory management training. And if you haven't had a chance to watch it and you weren't on last week, please go back and watch it because I feel like this whole Focus Forward has broken down this business. And so if you really want to know what this business is about and what this company is about, watch these series and it breaks down this entire marketing plan and structure from the start to now going into the finish. And I just think that if you want to even just be educated with, have that knowledge of what you're doing, so that way when you do pass it along, man, going through this Focus Forward is you're gonna hit everything about Mary Kay in this Focus Forward series. So who would like to share popcorn style? Raise your hand. Anyone who would like to share from last week's? Anybody? No, nobody got nothing from last week? Not one
Well,
single
I have.
thing?
Okay, good.
Anita.
Anita's going to share. I was going to share something if nobody had anything. So, Anita.
Okay.
I liked your guys' explanation of leadership versus management.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, it was a good explanation and the detail that you guys gave about how leadership is going along with, you're showing it and you're doing it along with your
With your people.
With your
Yeah,
people.
you're not
So
just telling them, right? You're
Yeah,
walking the walk.
right. So in my previous position of what I used to do, I'm glad I was doing that. So it was nice to know that I was a leader in that position and that at least I know I was good leadership instead of just telling them what to do and expecting them to do it.
Yeah.
So, but
Exactly.
I liked your explanation. It was really eye-opening to know that.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. Anyone else have anything that they would like to share from last week? Jasmine.
You telling me the expiration dates. Like December is X.
Uh-huh.
Did not know that.
Right.
I knew there was expiration dates, but I didn't know what like the numbers and letters meant. Yeah.
The coding.
Yeah. I had no idea what those letters and numbers were. I was like, what is this? Just looked at the expiration. So that was
absolutely
helpful. Thank you.
And then that's also a resource that went out to you or will be going out to you is the day code sheet. So you can print that and have that, which I think is super helpful because I can never find it myself. And so the fact that we gather this information is also helpful for me because, being in 9 years now, I probably should be looking at some stuff. No, I do every year, but I'm just saying. I forget.
Yeah, well, but it's like what I don't know how to read like the rest. I can do the first digit. I'm good at that. The rest of the digits I don't remember. I have to find some sort of code. So always good.
So good. Awesome. And then just the importance of having a little bit of inventory on hand and what that can do for your business and how it can cut your frustration in half. Also, when it comes to customer service and being able to provide to people, you may not be having orders just streaming in and knocking at your door, but man, when they do come in, isn't it nice to just be like, okay, I gotcha. I'll take it to you tomorrow, or I'll take it to you at work, or I'll take it to you at church, or I'll take it to you. Like, it's nice. And it takes a lot of pressure off of you to have to figure out how to get one product, right, that you might not have. And so I loved that part too, about just kind of cutting your frustration in half by having that on hand. Cheryl, is there anything you wanted to share?
No, while I was going to say is that I loved what Wanda shared at the beginning of last week's training, as far as, it was just so perfect timing for her to have all of those realizations of that leadership and what this company can do for you. And she was just real and raw. And I really loved what she had to share. So if you're watching this recording and you didn't watch her last time, it was just this little snippet that had so much value to it. And I really enjoyed what she had to share.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey.
Anyone else want to share before we get kicking off for tonight's training? All right, Cheryl. Oh, Anita?
I just want to say one thing about Jasmine's background. It's very peaceful and everything. And I wish I was sitting with you over there, because you always look all nice and peaceful over
Yeah.
there.
You just need
every
some
week I
tea.
see it and it's like, looks very peaceful.
Nice ambiance.
awesome.
Thank you.
Very
That is
good.
very comfy.
So fun.
All right.
I love that we can affirm each other and our backgrounds and everything about everything. So
Everything about everything.
All right,
All right,
you guys.
Cheryl.
Well, get out your notebooks, get out some notes, because although parts of business management in our business might not be the most fun things to learn about, and I will spotlight myself, I'm going to be sharing my screen for most of this. So, and see, every time I try to, wait, why did I spotlight Tanya?
Oh, I'm up here in the gallery.
I know. I didn't. Okay. And here I am. Okay. I'm so
There you
sorry.
are.
My
okay.
screen kept freezing. So business management, we touched on the inventory management part of it, which is a big part of your business management. And we've talked about time management. That was way at the beginning of the Focus Forward series. Okay. So now we're moving into money management and basics about our taxes. Okay, so you might now, if you're on live with me, I will know if you leave, but I will not know if you shut me off if you're watching the recording when I say that, because some people, when they think money, math, PowerPoints and spreadsheets, oh my, right? So it's my jam. It might be your jam, but we are going to dive into this in the most fun and most basic way that I hope that it really makes sense to those of you that have been around for a long time and those of you that are brand new in this business, because the business management aspects of managing our time, managing our inventory, managing our money, and then what we're going to cover next week, which is managing our emotions, aside from the skill set of this business of generating leads, booking appointments, holding appointments, sharing the business, that's the skill set over here. That is what we do day in and day out. But if we only focus on that and we don't focus on managing our time, our inventory, our money, and our emotions, we're going to completely fall apart, no matter how good we are over here. All right. And so I think that it can be a big pitfall for consultants to not truly understand how to manage all of those types of things. So we're going to continue with the money management and just some basics on some taxes, like I said, and I do have some visuals for you to see, because I think it's helpful to just verbally teach math and concepts as far as money goes is a little bit harder than for me to show you and to give you some tools. So understand that if math is not your strong suit, that is okay. I have made this super easy, and Mary Kay made it super easy. So I don't know if you remember Reagan talking during our team building training about how incredible our business opportunity is and how we are some of the most highest paid direct sales consultants in the world, because Mary Kay said, I'm going to pay our consultants a 50% commission on the sale of the product. And her attorney and somebody else said, that's not going to work. Your company is not going to last. You cannot pay your consultants half 60 years later, this is a tried and true method of we get paid what we're worth, but it works. And so when I say if math is not your strong suit, understand that half is easy. And that's what Mary Kay thought. And that's why part of why she developed the marketing plan the way she did in our commission structure, because half of anything is a whole lot easier than 25%, but all of that. And so with that in mind, just know that I am not going to lose you during this math part and the concepts of this, because I'm going to give you the tools that you can easily do this. So what we're going to start with is we're going to start with the basics of money management. Okay. And this is going to tie in a little bit to our inventory management. So I'm going to seamlessly run this back to last week and talk a little bit about inventory in the first couple of slides, not to repeat what we talked about, but from a money management standpoint. So let me get this going up here. Okay. So as we talked about last week, and I'll just go back so you guys aren't reading the slides while I'm talking. As we talked about having a healthy inventory and deciding what that looks like. And, investing in inventory is one of the smartest things that we can do as consultants at a level that is a healthy inventory where you are ordering only once or twice a month, right? That's what we talked about last week. So as we are in the process of being new consultants and or seasoned consultants, you're going to want to coach your team members through why it's important to do this and how they can do that. Although your director will, it's good for you to understand this. But remember, we have so many new consultants that are watching this training series. That is what it's designed for. So based on the idea of, yes, I would love to have a healthy inventory, or what you'll see in my slides is a full inventory based on your goals, which is going to be different for everybody based on how many customers you have. Where does the money come into that? So yeah, you've decided, let me invest in an inventory, but then what happens? So let's talk very briefly about really understanding that you have an investment to pay down a little bit at a time. And that guess what's going to pay for that? Your Mary Kay profits, not your other job, not your husband's job, not your family's money. You're working your Mary Kay business, and the profits that you make are going to help pay down your inventory. So as you invest in an inventory in the beginning of your business or at any point in your business, you want to have a goal of how long you want to take to pay off that inventory. Because I also don't want you to stress out that I'm going to invest in an inventory and I've got to clear out that means of investment in the first 2-3 months. That's not necessary either. Okay. So set a goal. Is that 6 months? Is it a year? What is that? It might be based on how long do you have 0% interest on the card that you put it on? How, what is that looking like? So what you're going to see in this money management basics is the second bullet point. This is just a suggestion. As you are paying off an inventory investment, what if you used half of your profit each week or each month to make a payment to that? And again, your Mary Kay business is paying down your investment, not your outside money, right? And you're working your business not only to make money, but to pay down the investment. So you own your inventory in full, and then you're working at a higher profit level. So what would that look like? If you sold $500 in product each week, using half of your profit would allow you to make a $100 payment every single week. Put that in a month, that'd be $400 a month. So if you invested in a Ruby Star inventory in the beginning of your business, which is $2,400 wholesale, and you made a goal and you use that great money management to pay it off, you could pay off a $2,400 inventory in 6 months, approximately. This is just for example, okay? And so if you want to work out something with your director based on your own investment level and your goals, then we are happy to do that with you. This is only to say your loan payment or your credit card payment, as you will see, comes out of your profit until it's paid off. And once it's paid off, you make more money in Mary Kay, which is great. But then you also have all of this product, which means you're going to sell more. Here's another strategy that Linda Tupin teaches, National Sales Director Emeritus Linda Tupin, is paying off your inventory with your Mary Kay tax return. And again, this is only a suggestion and only an idea. And I would highly recommend that you have a CPA that you can talk to about this. But tax time just ended for when we're doing this series, but it's going to be coming again. And you might be a new consultant that's watching this, that's a little bit closer to getting a tax return. But, you know, as you work your Mary Kay business, we have some great tax benefits, as we will learn very briefly at the end of this training. But you can make your scheduled payments every month until you get your Mary Kay tax return. And what Linda Tupin had suggested that we do is ask the CPA, what is the difference in your return with your Mary Kay business and without? And because you do have the potential of having good tax benefits in your Mary Kay business, there might be a few $100s, a few $1,000s. If every situation is different, that's not me promising any situation to anybody, but you might take that chunk of your refund and then just pay off the rest of your inventory. It's a beautiful money management technique to do it that way. Because what Linda Tupin taught was, if you take your tax return that your Mary Kay business benefited you and your family, and then you go buy a new couch, now you're still paying off your inventory, and now you're paying off a couch, right? And so let's be smart with the benefits that we have. So again, just an option, just something that I always thought, wow, that's a really interesting way to look at things. All right, let's get into money management basics. The very first thing is, what do I do with my bank accounts? What kind of accounts do I need? What does that look like? First and foremost, you definitely want to have separate bank accounts for your Mary Kay business. My recommendation is, well, first of all, these are personal accounts, not business accounts. Don't go into the bank saying you need a business account that has Mary Kay's name on it. That's actually not legal. You can't do that. So all you need to do is open up another personal account in your name. That's it. Doesn't have to say anything Mary Kay. It probably shouldn't anyway. So one checking account that is designated to your Mary Kay funds. Optional, open up a savings account so that you can put money in there for paying for Mary Kay events. So we are right now in the time where everybody is registering for seminar. And wouldn't it be fabulous if everybody had a fund, a savings account, so to say, that you had been putting money into all year, just a tiny bit of money from your Mary Kay sales, that when it came to paying for your registration and your hotel and your great awards night at corporate, that you had some extra money, that your Mary Kay money paid for, not your other job, not your family's income. And so that is an option if you want to start doing that, because you're looking at registering for seminar and you wish you had a little bit more. You can work this entire next year to be able to do that. So I suggest that. It's a great way to always make sure you have enough money for Mary Kay events. Okay. If you choose to have a credit card to do things for your business, have a separate credit card for your Mary Kay business. Of course, we have, the Mary Kay Visa that has some great rewards. You can look into that if you choose to do so. But the reason to have that is that if you use anything for credit, like paying for your seminar hotel or paying for your seminar flight or something like that, if you want to take the tax benefits of showing that as an expense, it's far better to have it separate and not mixing it in with everything else on your credit card, that you buy stuff for your family and you go to Target and you go to Walmart and you go to Smith's and all of those places, right? It's going to be too muddled in there, and you won't be able to take any tax benefits of writing off any interest if a credit card is not completely separate. Do you need a credit card? Not necessarily, but I do suggest it. It's a great thing to have some available credit in your business to do some certain things with. It is not designed for you to charge your Mary Kay orders on that you don't have money to pay for that. We do not rack up credit card balances, not understanding that unless it's an investment that you have a plan to pay down. This is not just to place orders on at all. Okay. So as I mentioned several times, separation is really important for not mixing your business and family income, but it's also important to the IRS. So if there's ever a chance that they look into your business, you get an audit, which I know that sounds super scary, but as long as you have all your ducks in a row, then you're going to be great. They want to see that you have separate accounts. They will then know that this is a business that you have and your intent is to make a profit, and you've separated out everything. So that's another reason that it's important. Those are the types of accounts that you want to have. Okay. All right, so how the money works, and here are just some basic concepts, okay? So our wholesale amount as consultants, we get a 50% discount off the retail value, right? Okay, again, this is why I said that Mary Kay said that half is easy, because it really is. That means when we sell the product at retail value, we make a 50% profit. As Reagan mentioned, we buy for $1 and we sell for $2. That's how that all works. However, when it comes to doing actual money management, we're going to work it a little bit differently, because when you're in business, there are certain expenses that come along with running a business, not just Mary Kay, any business, right? And so you might have heard, or this might be the first time you're hearing, a 60-40 split instead of 50-50. And that's what I'm going to teach you how to do and why we do it that way. And this is where the math will come in. But again, don't fret, it's not that complicated. So what does that 60-40 split mean? And what do I mean, with business expenses? So this is how your cash flow actually should work in Mary Kay with a 60-40 split. So let's start with the 60%. That's the first part of the split. So the 60%, 50% of that goes to replace the product or get the product that you just sold, right? Because we get it at 50% discount. So we at least half of the money that the customer gives to us goes to replace the product or to purchase it. Business expenses, just in a nice round number, 10% allocated to cover additional things for your business that support your business, like the preferred customer program, enrolling your customers to receive the lookbook, section 2. So maybe you need some more tray inserts for your skincare classes. Maybe you need a few more samples. Maybe you need some more catalogs, things like that. All of those are things that support our business. And where does that money come from to pay for it? We don't want to take it from the 50% that is allocated to the product that we're getting from the company, right? And so what we do is we move 10% from our profit to run our business. Hence, that's how we get the 60-40 split. So again, the 60% is for product and your business, your most common business expenses, all right? The 40% left over is, notice that I put gross profit, because a couple of different things happen within your profit. Any payments to your pay down your investment, to your credit card or your inventory loan, and then any other expenses other than the two that I have listed in the 60% come out of your gross profit, that 40%. So as a smart business owner, first of all, having inventory is, like I said, we've already said that is a great benefit. So for a limited amount of time, having a loan payment is not a bad thing, okay? That is not a bad business decision. That is a great business decision. What's not always a great business decision is having so many expenses that are not serving your business, that you're spending all of your profit on expenses that you don't need to be. So let's be smart with our expenses. Some of the expenses that we can't really get around that are important are going to be things like postage, that pirate ship that I talked about last week that's so important, the bubble envelopes, all of those things, the supplies, seminar, the events, all of that kind of stuff. Like those are the expenses that are made to support, educate, all of that. All of the additional foofy stuff, every single thing in the MK Connections brochure, you don't need it all. You might want to use your Star Consultant credit to get some, right? But you guys get what I'm saying. You don't need all the stuff all the time, because all that's going to do is lessen the amount of actual profit that you're making, because it is going to come out of your 40%. So that's what comes out of the 40%. Everything after that is what you have left over to pay yourself. So with that whole 60-40 concept in mind, how does that actually work when you're running your business and you're managing your own money? So, by the way, I'm going to send you guys in the resources a copy of these slides, okay? So that if a review is, if you are more of a take it in a little bit at a time and revisit it because it was just too much to absorb in one fell swoop, then you're going to have this to save onto your computer to always refer back to. So this is how this works. Our customers give us money for the products, right? That's going to be in cash. It's going to be a check. It's going to be in through a virtual wallet. When I say virtual wallet, I'm talking about Venmo, Zelle, PayPal, Apple Pay, all of the amazing ways that we can take payments that have not complicated, but just diversified our money. Our money is everywhere. That is another reason why we have to have such good money management, is because our money is everywhere. So we're going to take the total of every amount of money that our customers gave us. And that amount is going to go into, whether it's deposit at the bank or transferring from all the virtual wallets, into your Mary Kay checking account. So you're taking your money from all these different locations and you are pooling it together, pooling, P-O-O-L, pooling it together in your Mary Kay checking account, so that you're not just dealing with seven different monies everywhere, right? So you got to get it all in one place. Then you have an idea of, this is the total amount of money that I have to work with. Where am I going to allocate the money? How much goes to my product order? How much did I make? How much goes to my loan payment? And so there is a little bit of math involved in this. First thing is that when you pull all your money together, remember that, if a customer buys $100 worth of product from us, it's not just $100 flat. It's $100 plus tax, right? We charge customers our tax rate. We've paid it to Mary Kay up front, but we collect it back from our customers when we write out their sales ticket. So I'm going to use Albuquerque's tax rate just because that's what I'm as familiar with. And it's not even what's on my example right here. But I know that Albuquerque's tax rate is let's just say 7.7, right? So that customer is going to pay me $107.70, right? And so what we don't want to do over and over and over and over is profit off of the sales tax, right? We don't 60-40 split the sales tax, because that's not our right to make a profit off of that. And when we pay it back in our next product order, if you want to be really accurate and good about your money management, you want to only work with your pre-tax total. The 60-40 split should only be on your pre-tax total. That's all I'm trying to get across here, okay? So my 60-40 split would be on the $100, right? And then my tax amount doesn't get split. That full tax amount goes to my product order. So if you don't have your sales tickets where you know what your pre-tax amount is, you can divide your total by 1.0, whatever your tax rate is, and get your pre-tax total. Once you know what your pre-tax total is, in my example, it was $100 pre-tax total, then you can figure out, what's my 60%? And to do that, you do 100 times 0.6. And since I used a really easy round number, that is $60. All right. And so that $60 plus that full tax amount, which in my example was $7.70. So $67.70 is what is allocated for my next product order. Okay. That includes what I can get off of Section 2 if I need any. All right. So that money stays in your Mary Kay checking account to cover your Mary Kay order. Now, go back to that $100. The rest of your formula was the 40%. Well, we know that 40% of $100 is $40. So that was your profit off of a $100 sale. So what do you do with that $100? You pay any loan amounts and expenses. And then once you're done with that, you transfer your net profit to your personal checking account, or you can write yourself a check if that's more fun, like payday, and you pay yourself. You get that profit out of that Mary Kay checking account into your personal account, and you say, it's payday, right? Don't leave it all in your Mary Kay checking account, or again, you won't understand. I think what happens more often than not is that you don't ever pay yourself and you're always using that money to order product. That's, I think, what happens more often than the opposite, which is you keeping all your money for yourself and never ordering any product. Like that could happen. That's called embezzlement technically. So we don't want to do that, right? But more often than not, we don't pay ourselves in our business, and we need to pay ourselves because we work hard and we make money. And this is designed to be able to give yourself, whether it's a little bit or a lot of money, pay yourself. So I'll give you one more visual of this. This was when my tax rate was 7%, super easy. So I collected $321 that week. I put that into my Mary Kay checking account. When I pulled out the tax amount by doing the formula, I got $300 that I was working with. Okay, that's this one right here. I'm splitting, doing a 60-40 split on $300, not 321, but 300. So we're going to follow this arrow to the 60%. We do our formula, $300 times 0.6. And if you want to check my math, just do it on your little handy dandy calculator on your phone. But trust me, I think it's accurate. So that's $180. Your tax amount at 7% was $21. So you add those two together, and your 60% plus the full tax amount is $201 that stays in your Mary Kay checking account, ready for your next product order. Do you need to order product right that second? No, you don't. Because 40% of $300 is $120. Do you need to make a loan payment? Do you have something that, do you have to pay for, I don't know, your Mary Kay unit awards night to your director? What do you need to pay from that 120? If the answer is nothing, then you get the full 120 transferred to your personal checking and you just paid yourself your 40%. But determine, do I need to pay any loan amounts or expenses before I pay myself? Easy peasy, right, guys? If you guys are welcome to go get a piece of chocolate if you need it during any part of this. Okay, I totally understand. Chocolate is great. All right. Okay, so that is the 60-40 split. Now, this is just a pitfall. This is not meant to confuse you. This is a pitfall that a lot of us consultants fall into, is our pro-pay funds. Our pro-pay is the amount that we have run from credit cards, whether it be with our swiper or keying it in or customer orders from our website. The pitfall is that we don't pay ourselves from our pro-pay, right? So your pro-pay funds need to be treated like any other virtual wallet. You need to understand which portion of this goes to my product order and which portion of this is my profit. I am going to give you the permission to not worry about the fees. Just don't worry about the fees. Don't try to calculate that in and say, well, it was 30 cents here and then it was 2.5. Don't even worry about that. It'll end up being a wash down the road. Okay. So just like your virtual wallets, take that money and get it into your checking account. Now, do it smartly, because it does take 1 to 3 business days for it to show up from ProPay into your checking account. So if you need to make an order that day, or you need that money for some reason that day, it's not going to show up that day. You've got to have a couple of days leadway. There is a 30-cent transfer fee, so don't be transferring every single day or every single time you run a credit card. And then your other ones like Venmo and everything, the transfer fees, if you can wait a day or two, are free. All right. So don't fall into the pitfall of not doing a 60-40 split on your ProPay. Okay. Because what we can do with ProPay is when we are on a checkout screen of an order is we can apply our ProPay funds. Our ProPay is connected to our checkout screen of our orders. So if you're just trying to take the easy way out and you're like, I have $200.36 in my ProPay, so I'm just going to apply all of it to my order. Well, do you understand which of your 40% you just put into your order that you didn't pay yourself? And if you want to pay yourself in some other way, that's too complicated, right? Don't not pay yourself from your ProPay by lazily just saying, I'm going to apply $200.36 and not me. So if you do the 60-40 split, you notice in my example that I applied the 60% to the order, and then whatever's left, you can transfer to your account and know that that was your profit. That's the smartest way to do it. If your mathematical brain can do something different, by all means do it. But again, it's just a pitfall that we can fall into of just always applying ProPay funds and not making a profit. Okay. All right. Okay, now you're like, this was me, guys. I made this spreadsheet because I'm a spreadsheet girl, and I'm going to pull it up and I'm going to show you. But I would get a scrap piece of paper, and I'm decently good at math. So I get a scrap piece of paper, and I learned all of this from Linda Tupin, by the way. And just to give you some hope, money management was something that I so wanted to understand for so long in my business, but it was taught in such a complicated fashion when I was a new consultant. And it was like a 3-hour training every time I took it. And my head hurt by the time that I was done, that I truly didn't understand it for so long. So I continued to try to learn about it from different personalities and different perspectives of the way of teaching the 60-40 split. And Linda Tupin was very helpful to just kind of be eye-opening with the simplicity of the way that she taught it. And so once I learned, oh, right, you can't profit off of the tax amount. That makes sense. So we got to back that out. But me being good at math, I would take a piece of paper and I would hand do all of the equations that I just taught you. And I realized that that is just not something that everybody's going to want or be able to do or remember. So for myself, and to be able to pass it on to anybody that finds it helpful, I made a spreadsheet that formulates everything that I ever did on scratch paper and that I just showed you. So this is going to be one of your resources. If you like it and it's helpful to you, please use it. So what it looks like, and I call it the Money Management Made Easy spreadsheet. This does the math for you. Okay, so all you have to do, and I'll show you kind of just the differences very quickly of how many different things this spreadsheet can do for you. This first page in this first tab is a clean 60-40 split. You can see the 60% in pink, which also adds in your full tax amount, and then you can see the 40% profit in green. So this spreadsheet, if you notice, and I'm going to highlight this, it is set for Albuquerque sales tax. Many of you do not have my same sales tax. It is extremely easy to change the formula for your tax rate, and I'm going to show you how to do that first. If you click this first box that says pre-tax amount, and you come up to this formula right here, put in your 4-digit tax rate right there instead of mine. And then your calculations will be correct for your city, and then just save it to your own desktop, okay? So if your tax rate in your city is 8%, it would be 1.08. If it's 6.5%, it would be 1.065. That's how you designate your tax rate and change it from mine, okay? So I loved it when our tax rate was 7% because it made the math easy. It's not anymore. It's 7.775. So I'm still going to use the $321 that I just did in the PowerPoint, but I'm going to show you if that's truly what I collected that week. And I didn't want to sit and scratch out all that math. I just put 321 in my total deposit, and look what happens. All of your math works. So if you really want to know, where does my money go? You can see it all outlined here. Your pre-tax amount is $297.84. That doesn't really make much sense, but you guys, you get it. Roll with me up here, okay? It pulled out the tax for you. It told you that your 50% for your product is this amount, and that your 5% and your 5%, which equals your 10% for business, right? Those are kind of interchangeable, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. $14.89 can go towards section 2, and $14.89 can be saved for your lookbook enrollment. But what you really need to pay attention to, and really all you need to pay attention to, like this is all good info just in case you're curious, but all you need to know is, how do I split my money? I've got $321 deposited. What do I need to do? That's all you need to care about. $201.86 stays in your Mary Kay checking account to pay for your order next time you order. $119.14, $119.14. After you pay your expenses, you can pay yourself that. Okay. So those really, the two colorful ones are really the only two that you need to pay attention to. So let's say that you had $650 total. You put $650 there. What do I do with my money? It tells you the answer. You don't really have to think. I wanted you to understand why the formulas are set up that way, but now you don't have to think. Just put it in there and split your money accordingly. So, not to confuse the issue, but to understand that not everybody has that healthy full inventory. Some people are paying down investments. Some people would like to grow an inventory. I just want you to know that if you look at the tabs on the bottom of the spreadsheet, there's different scenarios and suggestions. So let's just say that you do have a healthy inventory, but you're still paying down the investment. So if I use the 321, just notice that the 60% did not change, but it allowed you to split your 40% to put $59 towards your loan payment and $59, toward your profit. And so I did several scenarios just so that it really gave you that visual of what that math can look like based on where your inventory and your investment, if you're building one, if you only have a small store. So just figure out, where am I in my business, and only use one of these. Okay, you don't need all the tabs. You don't need to switch back and forth. Just realize, what the purpose of them is. There's a whole bunch of notes in here. You can read them. They were just suggestions. And again, other pitfalls. If you're like, oh shoot, what do I do now? I might have spelled it out to give you an explanation of that. So that's going to be in your resources. It will be utilized. Just remember to change your tax rate on that. Okay, let me get back to this PowerPoint. This one. All right. Okay, moving on. Maybe trying to move on. Okay, so this comes from National Sales Director Kristen Sharp. And this is like, what are the steps that I can do every week to run my business and know that I am like checking all the boxes and doing really good money management and business management. She calls it Money Monday. You can call it Financial Friday, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter what day it is, right? But it's the lucky 7. So what are the 7 things each week that you can do to make sure that your business is running well as far as your money goes? Number 1 is going to the bank to deposit all of your cash and checks. All right, if you still get cash and checks from people. I know that's becoming less and less as time goes on. Save your bank deposit slips and the check images and everything, just for tax purposes, just for backup. All right, because they're going into your Mary Kay checking account, right? The second thing in the lucky 7 is all of your virtual wallets. Make sure that you are getting all your virtual wallet money transferred to your Mary Kay checking. Okay. As I mentioned at the beginning, if you have money all over, you have no idea what's happening, and it's just really confusing. Number 3, you're going to get your customer information and your sales tickets entered into InTouch. We talked about that in the post-party part of our training, but it's just here to remind you that that's data entry and business management that needs to happen. And if you keep up with it, you won't let customers slip through the cracks. Number 4, your weekly accomplishments sheet. We've already taught on this as well. All right. So that's another thing that's going to be part of your lucky 7. Number 5, use your money management made easy spreadsheet, if you choose to determine your 60-40 split. If you don't use the spreadsheet, just what's my 60-40 split for the week? I've deposited my money to the bank. I've transferred my money from all the other locations. Now, how do I split it? Where does my money go? So determining that. Number 6, reorder the products you sold that week. This goes into inventory management. You don't want to have an inventory, sell the product, not replace it. Oops, where'd my inventory go? You start with an inventory, you sell, and you reorder. And then you sell, and then you reorder, right? So does that mean that you have to place an order every week? Absolutely not. But if you want to keep up with things, you can have a saved order on InTouch that you continue to add the products that you have sold, so that there's no more frantic ordering at the end of the month when you're like, oh, I'm going to help with my unit goals, but it's 10 o'clock p.m. and oh my gosh. And then you forgot your lookbooks, and then you ordered 11 beige one pressed powders instead of 1. And trust me, it's all happened to all of us. And it just, We don't want any of that. So having that running total is just a suggestion. Okay. Number 7, pay yourself. I think that's the one thing that so many consultants don't do for themselves is give yourself a paycheck, and you deserve it. So number 1, understanding your 60-40 split, but then once you understand where all your money is going, where it needs to go, actually getting that money into your personal account and saying, yay, I don't care if it's $10. I don't care if it's $250. Celebrate the money that you make in this business. And any point that you say, I'd really like to make more in my business, as you start to see, or reap the benefits of this or not, all you have to do is up your activity. That's all you have to do. That monthly IPA tracking sheet, set a higher goal. The more activity in your business, the more money that it's going to bring, the more customers you have, the more product you sell, the more money that's going into your Mary Kay checking account, you'll have more money to split 60-40, right? And so that is completely within your control if you put in the amount of activity to back the type of goals that you want. So this is all about being a good steward of your money, okay? All right. I am not going to take questions quite yet because I'm going to go into our one other thing that we have here, and we are doing so good on time, and you guys are so good. Did anybody go get some chocolate while I was talking? Because now is a great time to do it if you need some. But okay, perfect. So yeah, those are your money management basics. I was looking for the secret word, Tanya, and I don't think it printed. I think that my ink is doing something weird. So I'm going to have Tanya look up the secret word and pop on in just a minute and give that to you, because I was going to do that.
You want me to give it right away?
Yes, please.
Okay, your secret word is success.
Woo, success. Yeah, totally didn't print on my page here. I'm like, I saw it, but I don't know where it is. Okay, now, last thing that I'm going to cover is just some very, very basics about taxes. Whether you're brand new, this is another thing, you guys, full disclosure. I still don't understand my taxes completely. Still, right? Oh, Cindy said, what was the word? The word was success. Cindy, success. So for my personality, and I am a very detail-oriented C personality, a little bit of a D, but if I don't understand something, I get a little bit frustrated, but I will continue to try to learn it until I get it. And so this is another process, and it's an ever-changing process from the CPA IRS standpoint, not really from us as beauty consultants. So the reason I'm only giving you the very basics is the thing about your Mary Kay sales directors is we are not accountants. We are not CPAs. We are not licensed in any of this. We don't know the IRS code, and we are not legally able to give our consultants tax advice. Okay, that's a big no-no for us. So we can't promise certain things. We can't educate on certain things. So what we can do is we can help you understand what records to keep, how to organize those records on a worksheet so that then it transfers pretty easily onto a Schedule C. So here's what I can tell you. Part of your taxes of being an independent beauty consultant with Mary Kay is what's called a Schedule C, which is a profit and loss from business. And so that's what gets added on, and that is how you file your business taxes, right? It's going to show you what you made in Mary Kay and then all of the expenses that you have, and your accountant, a professional that is not me, is going to work all those numbers, because I, to this day, still don't get it. Okay, so here is a couple of things, and you will be sent these in the resources. But the first thing is creating like an accordion folder or something similar with little like dividers, right? So think dividers, think tabs, places where you can divide out your receipts. And so you're going to get this that you can print on those, Avery labels that come 30 to a page. And this, if nothing else, tells you what can I write off on my taxes and what category does it go in. And they did a great job. Yes, I realize it says 2018, but for the most part, things stay pretty consistent as far as like our expenses go. your CPA will tell you if anything has changed, but it's not like they throw anything out the window usually. But anyway, underneath these categories gives you like what you should put in there. Office expense, toner, paper, staples, tape, apps, other software. So this alone organizes and educates you on what receipts to put where and what category they go in. Okay, on all of these things. So this is great. It's one page. You'll have basically about 25 categories because there are some on here that are for directors only, and then there are some that won't apply. So you're going to have that. So one of the things, well, I'll get to your homework in just a minute. Okay, so that is all your receipts. So number one, keep your receipts and then figure out which category it goes by. The second, oops, I got to get to my other PDF here. Hang on. Let me switch over. Okay. The second thing is, so many buttons to click. I'm sorry, guys. Here it comes. This is a great summary sheet to provide to your tax preparer as you add up those receipts in each category. Okay. And so you can just print this. This will be sent to you and you just put your totals, hand it to your tax preparer. Kathy's excited about something. I can't wait to hear what you're excited about, Kathy, in just a few minutes when I take questions and feedback and great aha moments. There's nothing I love more than excitement when it comes to money and taxes in trainings, right? Okay, so this is super easy. So then you can add it all up and you've got a summary sheet to give to your tax preparer, or if you're doing your taxes yourself, this all should correspond with your Schedule C stuff. I don't know how that works because I don't do my own taxes. Okay, one more. My computer just froze, so give me just a second to get out of here. You know what? Well, actually, yeah, it's getting there. While my computer is unfreezing and not spinning, it's like you have shared too many spreadsheets and too many PowerPoints, Cheryl. I am going to cut you off. Oh, what I was going to say, where did everybody go? Kathy, if you can hear me, if you'll unmute and tell me what you're so excited about while my computer doesn't freak out, I would love to hear. And then I've got one more thing.
Okay, can I check? Can you hear me? Yes.
Yes.
This-
Okay, I'm back.
This for me is the most valuable session all time because this is so awesome. I got the whole, like I am down to, if I get change, Harry thinks I'm a little crazy. Okay, let's say it's $25.50. I do not put that 50 cents in my pocket. That 50 cents goes into my account. I'm diligent because I know what could happen. I could just stick that money in my pocket and not deposit it. But that form, the spreadsheet and the form you just showed us, and the whole, I keep everything, but I don't have it organized. So at the end of the year, I have to go through and sort. So I love your idea of the accordion and stick everything in. And I'm going tomorrow and make up this. Oh my gosh, that is the best thing ever.
Perfect.
Ever.
You know, it just
Oh.
takes somebody being like, yeah. So, okay, Anita, hang on. I'm going to spotlight you, Anita. You guys, I'm preview. This is going to be part of your homework is getting this receipt folder set up. So let me get Anita spotlighted because she's got hers. So check this out, Kathy. So turn it to its side, Anita. It's one of those like big real like heavy duty-ish ones. That's what you guys want. Okay.
Thank you, Anita.
Okay, so yes, Anita, thank you for the visual. You guys, that is the type of accordion folder, and then you print out those labels and then you get them on each section for that. Okay. So another math helpful thing, last thing I'm going to show you and send you as a resource, let me get to the correct Excel spreadsheet, is, and hopefully I don't freeze too much from sharing too many crazy things here. No, that's not what I wanted. Come on. Okay, it should let me see this and share it with you guys. It was just not doing. Okay, there it is. Okay, this is actually from Mary Kay InTouch. You can find it on InTouch, but we're going to send it to you. and it is already in Excel, but it's the expense tracking form. You don't need to use I would say use all three of them. All this does is it like, instead of just doing the summary form to give your tax preparer, this will add them up for you. So this has the addition formulas in it for Excel. And so this is another way that you can just be organized, like Kathy was saying, and put in quarterly your expenses and have totals. So it just keeps track of them and does the math for you, instead of like, you can just reach behind each of those tabs at the end of the year and add them up with an adding machine or a calculator or something, or you can utilize this expense tracking. Again, this is another resource for you to understand what are my tax write-off opportunities, and get it in there. So we'll send that one to you as well. So those are just the basics of organizing for your taxes and then getting it put together so that you can give it over to a professional who knows what to do with it. So with that, your homework, and I have Anita on Spotlight. I know she's like, why do I have to be on Spotlight? I'm sorry, Anita. Here we go. Because you are so pretty and I love the pink that you're wearing. That's why. I didn't even notice. So your homework is to set up your receipt file folder. So we already showed you that. All right. So if you don't, and if you already have that system or something that works for you, just take a photo of it and send it to your director. But again, a lot of you are new consultants watching this. And so setting that up and then getting your separate bank account or accounts for Mary Kay. So remember, at least a Mary Kay checking account that is a personal account just in your name. So if you don't have one of those and you've been in the business for a while, get one of those. If you are brand new, get one of those. Now, you guys, some of the big banks, here's the key. Free checking, free checking, okay? No fees, no this, no that. Shop around. Credit unions are great, but some of the bigger banks, they've got all kinds of requirements. So free checking account so that you don't, again, because if you start getting fees, that's coming out of your profit. So we don't want that. So those are the two things of your homework, other than continuing your monthly IPA tracking sheet, your full circle tracking sheet. And while the recording is still going, and Kathy, thank you so much for coming on and already sharing a little bit, but I would love to know, do you have any questions, feedback, or comments? And I will remove my spotlight that would be helpful to other consultants or those watching the recording before we stop it.
I do. I thought I was pretty thorough in all my deductions but I realize there's so much I've missed. And that's that last printout that you just showed.
Yes.
So complete that I have had write-offs that I missed, that I could have used that for tax purposes, which would have helped. Yeah, that was excellent. So I think, again, thank you for tonight.
Of course, of course. And Kathy, year after year after year, I mean, you should see Tanya and I during tax season. We still don't get it, but we do our best, and we do it. We get it all together. And Anita's kind of a little bit more well-versed on taxes. Boy, she knows more than I do, but it's just the understanding of it. And so just know that it's completely normal to be like, wow, I totally missed that, or I've been doing that wrong for 5 years, and it's okay. It's okay. Then we learn something new, and then we just add that into our understanding. So whether that's money management, you guys, and this is the first time that you're really grasping that 60-40 split after a few years, or brand new and being like, oh, okay, well, I didn't do that for my first 2 months, but now I should probably do that. Give yourself grace. Same with the taxes. If you're like, I had no idea that I was supposed to be doing that. Well, now you know. So, and you'll continue to know and continue to understand that when business management is taught, that it's not like, oh, I learned that, I don't need that again. Every single time you will grasp something a little bit different that will spark your understanding a little bit more into these types of subjects, which are not fun for everybody and really fun for some people. So thank you, Kathy. Any other questions or Jennifer?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
your spreadsheet that you had, do you put the entire amount that you made, say you profited $1,000, do you not split that in half and just put 500? Or do you put the entire $1,000
Are you, okay, so a little more specific.
on the
Are
purple
you-
sheet? When it says your sales, your sale profit or your sales, or whatever that first blank was, it was your total of something.
It
I
was
think it was
with,
total of your
with
sales.
the tax. So it was with the tax amount. So Jennifer, if you have your sales tickets and you already know that your sales were $1,000 before tax, you've already done half of the math.
Mhm.
So, but it's not 500 and 500, it's actually 600 and 400. Now, this brings me to a very valid point. When you're selling that much product, especially, you allocate 10% to your business in that 60-40 split. But if you don't need $100 to do lookbook enrollment or do section 2, that doesn't mean just buy section 2 because I said you needed to allocate 10%, right? Maybe it'll cover your shipping that time because you didn't, you know what I mean? It's like if you do not utilize that 10%, here's 2 things that you can do with it. Number 1 is you can profit from that because you did not need to do anything with it. You understood, I'm using that for lookbook enrollment and section 2, but I've already enrolled my customers. I have all the section 2 that I need. My shipping's paid, all of that. Then that $100 in Jennifer's example can be moved over to your profit. Or if you want to make a smart decision, left in your Mary Kay checking account is a slush fund for when you might need some extra money for something extra. Okay. Or move it to your savings, event savings, and that $100 just became almost half of your seminar registration.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
you won't always use all your 10%, but we have to have that business mindset of, I have to support my business and pay for my expenses somehow. Therefore, I'm going to shave off 10% of my profit to allocate for that, knowing that if you don't use it, it's okay. You can kind of decide where it goes after that. So I don't know if that answered your question, Jennifer, because with $1,000, yeah, 500, that's our 50% profit. But what if you need some stuff or, you need lookbook enrollment? Like you have to.
Well, no, what I was saying was on that tax form for your tax purposes. Do you split? Yeah. Do you split that in half for the taxes? Okay. Say you made $600 or $6,000 for the year or $10,000 for the year. Do you put $5,000 on there or do you put the whole $10,000 on there?
Let me pull up that sheet real quick. Now I understand that you're not talking about the money management. You're talking about the tax summary sheet. So
Yeah.
okay,
the
so
purple
I
sheet.
apologize. Wrong question. wrong answer to what you meant was the right question. This is what you're talking about, Jennifer, correct? On sales.
Mhm.
Is this what
Yes.
you're talking about?
Yes.
So it will, see, this is where I get confused because I follow a very detailed worksheet with my accountant that says, put this amount. This is your gross sales.
Mhm.
So if you sold $1,000, okay, to your point, if you sold $1,000 or $6,000 for the year, you put 6,000.
Mhm.
The
Okay.
retail. Yeah, the retail, not the wholesale.
Okay.
Yeah, good question.
Because when I went to an accountant one time, he says, you need to cut all your stuff in half and then give that to me. And I just looked at him like he had lost his mind. But anyway,
Find yourself a new accountant. It
I am.
just is, okay. And it's just, we have to be careful about people who don't understand our Mary Kay business. Okay. And again, your director is not here to give you tax advice or, point you in a certain direction, but we kind of know people, right? So, offline, if you need some suggestions of people who understand our business. Because yeah, Jennifer, red flag, and you did the right thing to be like, yeah, that's not right. So a good thing to ask a tax preparer, a CPA, an accountant, whoever you want to use to help do your Mary Kay taxes, is to ask them how many Mary Kay tax returns have they done in the past? Because our business is different. And the way we report our sales, Jennifer, is different than other businesses. And so when you're working with someone that doesn't quite understand that, and there are plenty of accountants out there that understand Mary Kay and have done enough to know what to do. And typically, even if they're not super familiar with Mary Kay and you show up with these documents and the summaries and you say, this is what I need you to do, don't question this. My sales were $6,000, enter it as is. As long as they're willing to do that and you can help them understand that, which I can't help anybody understand it because I don't understand it myself. But if a tax preparer is just entering the stuff for you and not questioning, oh, this isn't right, that's a red flag, because in these worksheets that we give you, I just understand it to be true from that CPA that understands our Mary Kay business and the IRS code and how that works. So, yeah, just be careful with your tax preparers because they can kind of mess things up for you if they don't truly understand. So, great question, Jennifer. Any other questions, Jennifer? Burning question. Okay, sorry I answered. I totally didn't understand what you were asking in the first place. My apologies. Any other questions that might be helpful in the recording before we move on to our fun recognition? I don't want to cut anybody short because I know this is like, whew, right? These are brain fireworks, by the way, not your brain exploding. Okay, perfect. Well, you have your secret words, you have your homework. And if you were watching the recording, thank you guys for hanging in there. We actually did so great on time. So I'm going to end this recording.